Before we begin, please like this video and subscribe to Ear Candy English, because what you're about to hear is not just another self-help talk or English lesson. This video might wake you up in a way you didn't expect. Let me ask you something serious. When was the last time you felt truly sharp, focused, and alive in your mind? Not tired, not foggy, not just scrolling through life, but actually present. If you're forgetting things more often, losing focus, or feeling mentally slow, this is not random. Your brain is quietly getting weaker every day, and most people don't notice until it's too late. We live in comfort, routine, and screens, and that comfort is slowly killing our thinking power. In this video, you'll learn how to fight back, not with boring advice, but with real habits that force your brain to stay young, flexible, and alive at any age. While you train your brain, you'll also train your English listening with clear, natural American speech. So you're upgrading two things at once. And here's the mini hook to keep you listening. What if the reason you feel tired and unfocused has nothing to do with age and everything to do with how you live every single day? Let's begin and rebuild your mind from the inside. Most people think the brain gets old because of age, but that's not the truth. And this is the first and most important thing you need to understand. Your brain doesn't die because you're getting older. It dies because you stop challenging it. Every single day, without noticing, people choose comfort. They wake up the same way, check the same phone, follow the same routine, eat the same food, take the same road, think the same thoughts, and avoid anything that feels hard or uncomfortable. And while that feels safe, it is quietly destroying the brain. The brain is like a muscle. If you don't use it in new ways, it doesn't stay strong. It becomes slow, lazy, and weak. When life becomes too easy, the brain goes to sleep. That's why people forget names, lose focus, feel mentally tired, and say things like, "I don't feel sharp anymore." It's not because they are broken, it's because their brain has no reason to stay awake. Repetition without challenge puts the brain on autopilot, and when the brain lives on autopilot for too long, life starts to feel dull, heavy, and empty. Think about it. When was the last time you struggled mentally? When was the last time you felt confused, awkward, or unsure because you were learning something new? Most people avoid those moments. They run back to what feels easy. But that struggle is exactly what keeps the brain young. When you do the same easy things every day, your brain says, "I don't need to grow." But when you do something new or difficult, your brain wakes up and says, "Pay attention." That's growth. Comfort feels good, but comfort kills curiosity. Comfort kills creativity. Comfort kills memory. This is why people can scroll for hours but can't focus for 5 minutes. This is why they feel busy but not alive. The brain was designed to solve problems, not to consume endless noise. When you remove challenge from your life, you remove meaning. And without meaning, the brain slowly shuts down. This isn't about doing extreme things. It's about small, daily challenges, using your non-dominant hand, taking a different route home, sitting in silence instead of grabbing your phone, trying something you're bad at, and staying with the discomfort. These small actions tell your brain, we are still alive. Most people think the brain wants comfort, but it doesn't. The brain wants engagement. It wants novelty. It wants effort. When you avoid effort, the brain becomes bored, and boredom is not harmless. Boredom is a warning sign. It means the brain is starving. The scary part is that this happens quietly. You don't feel it all at once. You just wake up one day feeling slower, less creative, less motivated, and you don't know why. But now you do. Your brain didn't fail you. You stopped feeding it. The good news is, this can be reversed. The brain is plastic. It can change at any age, but only if you force it to. If you keep choosing easy, your brain will keep shrinking. If you choose challenge, it will grow. And here's the mini hook that leads into the next part. If comfort is slowly killing the brain, what happens when we intentionally choose struggle every single day, even in small ways? One of the biggest lies modern life teaches us is that comfort is the goal. But when it comes to your brain, comfort is actually the enemy. Your brain stays young only when it struggles, not when it relaxes all the time, not when everything feels easy, but when it has to work, adapt, and face discomfort. Most people avoid hard things every day. They avoid difficult conversations. They avoid learning new skills. They avoid situations where they might fail, look stupid, or feel scared. And slowly, without realizing it, their brain becomes weak. It forgets how to focus. It forgets how to think deeply. Doing one hard thing every day is not about suffering for no reason. It's about reminding your brain that it still needs to stay sharp. A hard thing can be very simple. Speaking English even when you're afraid of making mistakes, waking up a little earlier instead of pressing snooze, saying no to junk food when your body wants comfort, reading a page of a difficult book when you feel tired, talking to someone new instead of staying silent. These small moments of discomfort are like weights for your brain. They don't feel good, but they make you stronger. When you avoid hard things, your brain learns a dangerous habit. It learns to escape. And a brain that always escapes becomes slow and fragile. Think about how strong muscles are built, not by resting all day, but by resistance. The brain works the same way. If it never feels pressure, it never grows. Many people say they feel mentally tired all the time, but the truth is, they are not tired from effort. They are tired from boredom. Their brain is underused, doing hard things wakes it up. There was a man who felt mentally old in his 40s. He had no focus, no energy, and no motivation. When he asked why, the answer was simple. He had stopped challenging himself years ago. He decided to change one thing. Every day, he did one uncomfortable task on purpose: cold showers, walking without his phone, reading instead of watching videos. Within weeks, his mind felt clearer. Not because life became easier, but because his brain became stronger. This teaches us something important. Fear is not a signal to stop. Fear is often a signal to grow. When your brain says, "I don't want to do this," that is usually the exact moment you should lean in, not run away. Struggle does not mean pain forever. It means short discomfort for long strength. When you push yourself a little every day, your confidence grows. Your memory improves. Your thinking becomes faster. You feel more alive. Life starts to feel meaningful again. Many people wait for motivation, but motivation comes after action, not before. If you wait until something feels easy, you'll wait forever. The brain does not grow in safety. It grows in challenge. This is why children learn so fast. Everything is hard for them, and they try anyway. Adults forget this. They choose comfort over curiosity, but you can change that starting today. Choose one hard thing daily. Not 10, just one. Stay with the discomfort. Let your brain struggle. Let it sweat. That struggle is not harming you, it's saving you. And here's the mini hook that leads into the next part. If struggle strengthens the brain, what happens when modern screens and constant stimulation steal away our ability to sit, focus, and think deeply? One of the biggest enemies of a young, sharp brain today is not age, not stress, not lack of intelligence, but constant screen use. Phones, tablets, TVs, and endless scrolling are slowly training your brain to become weak, distracted, and impatient, and most people don't even realize it's happening. Every time you scroll, your brain jumps from one short piece of information to another. One video, one post, one message, then another, and another. Your brain never stays in one place long enough to think deeply. It learns to expect quick rewards without effort. This feels good in the moment, but over time it damages your ability to focus, remember, and stay present. Many people say, "I can't concentrate anymore," or "my memory is bad," but the real reason is that their brain has been trained to avoid stillness. Silence now feels uncomfortable. Sitting alone with your thoughts feels scary. And that is a serious problem. A healthy brain needs quiet time to organize thoughts, clean memory, and create new ideas. Without that quiet, the brain stays noisy and tired. Think about how often people reach for their phone the moment they feel bored, lonely, or uncomfortable. That moment of boredom used to be creative space. Now it's instantly filled with noise. Over time, the brain forgets how to be calm. It forgets how to focus on one thing. It becomes addicted to stimulation. This is why many people can't read a page of a book without checking their phone. This is why conversations feel shallow. This is why people feel mentally exhausted even when they do nothing all day. The brain is overloaded, not challenged. The solution is not to throw away your phone. The solution is to take control. You must give your brain breaks from screens every single day. Even 20 or 30 minutes of screen-free time can start to heal your focus. During that time, don't replace the phone with music, podcasts, or TV. Let your brain sit with itself. Walk, write, think, breathe. At first, this will feel uncomfortable. Your brain will panic and look for stimulation. That reaction is a sign of addiction, not weakness. If you stay with the discomfort, something powerful happens. Your thoughts slow down. Your attention returns. You start noticing small details again. This is your brain waking up. Many people are afraid of silence because silence forces them to face their own thoughts. But that is exactly where growth happens. A brain that is never alone becomes shallow. A brain that has quiet time becomes deep. Over time, reducing screen time improves memory, creativity, emotional control, and mental energy. You feel more present in conversations. You listen better. You think more clearly. This is not magic. It's recovery. Your brain is recovering from constant interruption. In daily life, this means setting boundaries. No phone during meals. No phone before bed. No phone during walks. These small changes protect your brain from overload. Remember, your phone is a tool, not oxygen. You don't need it every second. When you stop letting screens control your attention, you take your mind back. And here's the mini hook leading into the next part. If screens weaken focus and memory, what happens when we rebuild our brain by learning how to remember, reflect, and use our mind actively again instead of outsourcing it? One of the biggest reasons people feel mentally weak today is not age, stress, or bad genes, but the fact that they have stopped using their memory. Modern life teaches us to outsource everything. Phone numbers are saved. Directions are on maps. Names are quickly forgotten because we can ask again. Information is one click away, so the brain never has to work to remember anything. And every time you choose to check instead of recall, your brain becomes a little weaker. Memory works like a muscle. If you don't use it, it shrinks. Most people don't even try to remember anymore. The moment they forget something, they reach for their phone. That habit trains the brain to be lazy. It sends a message that says, "You don't need to work. Someone else will do it for you." Over time, the brain believes it. This is why people forget names seconds after hearing them, walk into rooms and forget why, and struggle to hold information for more than a few minutes. The solution is uncomfortable, but powerful. You must force your brain to remember again. Before you check anything, pause. Give your brain a chance. Close your eyes. Try to pull the answer from inside. Even if it feels hard, even if you fail, that effort matters. That struggle is where memory grows. When you try to remember, your brain builds new connections. When you skip that step, those connections fade. Another powerful habit is memorization. Most adults think memorizing is only for children or school, but that belief is destroying their mind. Memorizing a poem, a song, or a short text forces the brain to focus, repeat, and organize information. It strengthens attention and recall at the same time. Even memorizing a few lines a week can make a huge difference over time. People who memorize regularly often feel sharper, more confident, and more mentally alive. Teaching is another powerful way to protect your brain. You don't truly understand something until you explain it to someone else. When you teach, your brain must organize ideas clearly. It must find simple words. It must repeat and connect information. That process locks knowledge into your memory. You don't need a classroom. You can teach a friend, a family member, or even talk out loud to yourself. The act of teaching tells your brain, This matters. Keep this. Many people consume information all day but never use it. They watch videos, read articles, and scroll endlessly, but nothing sticks because nothing is applied. Memory needs action. It needs effort. It needs ownership. This is why active recall is so important. Write things by hand, repeat ideas out loud, test yourself without looking. These small actions keep the brain alive. It will feel uncomfortable at first because your brain is used to shortcuts, but discomfort is a sign of growth. Over time, remembering becomes easier. Your confidence grows. You trust your mind again. You stop feeling foggy and scattered. You feel present. This habit also improves your English learning. When you force yourself to remember words, phrases, and ideas instead of always checking, your language skills grow faster and deeper. And here's the mini hook to lead into the next part. If using memory actively can rebuild focus and confidence, what happens when we combine this with deeper connection, real conversations, and a life that is fully present instead of rushed and shallow? A brain does not stay young just by avoiding screens or doing hard tasks. It stays young when life has depth, meaning, and real connection. One of the most dangerous things for the brain today is shallow living. Many people talk all day but say nothing real. They meet many people but feel deeply lonely. They move fast but never feel present. Their brain is always busy but never alive. Small talk, constant noise, and rushing from one thing to another keep the brain distracted, not engaged. A healthy brain needs moments that make it feel something. It needs conversations that go deeper than, "How are you?" and "I'm fine." It needs silence. It needs reflection. When you have real conversations, when you ask meaningful questions, when you listen fully instead of waiting to speak, your brain wakes up. It starts to connect emotions, memories, and ideas. That connection is what keeps the mind sharp. Think about the conversations you remember from your life. They are not the quick ones, they are the honest ones. The ones where someone shared fear, hope, regret, or truth. Those moments stay because your brain was fully present. Shallow moments disappear because nothing meaningful happened. The same is true for daily life. When you live on autopilot, same routine, same path, same habits, your brain stops noticing. It stops caring. That's when people say life feels empty or time feels fast. The brain needs surprise to stay alive. Changing your routine, even in small ways, forces your brain to pay attention again. A different walking route, a new place to sit, a new question to ask. These small changes tell the brain, this moment matters. Nature is another powerful tool. Walking alone outside without your phone is not a luxury. It's a reset. Nature slows the nervous system. It clears mental noise. It reminds the brain how to be calm without stimulation. Many people are afraid to be alone with their thoughts, but that fear is a sign of overload. When you learn to sit with silence, your thoughts become clearer, not louder. Your brain needs that space to organize itself. Another key part of depth is routine with intention. Routines are not bad, but unconscious routines are. When you do everything automatically, your brain stops learning. But when you change small things on purpose, you bring awareness back. Awareness is the opposite of mental aging. Teaching others is also a form of depth. When you share what you learn, your brain connects knowledge to meaning. You stop consuming and start creating. That shift keeps the brain alive. Strategy games, writing in silence, memorizing poems, and learning new skills all add layers to your thinking. They slow you down in a good way. They move you from reaction to reflection. A young brain is not a fast brain. It is a deep brain, one that can focus, feel, remember, and connect. This is why people who live with intention often feel mentally younger than their age. They are present, they notice, they care. In the end, keeping your brain young is not about hacks. It's about how you live each day. Are you rushing or noticing, consuming or creating, distracted or present? And here's the mini hook to leave you thinking. If depth, presence, and meaning are what truly keep the brain alive, what is one small change you can make today? to stop living on autopilot and start living awake again.